Catherine. We're moving to New York City.
As chairman of the Council of the University of the City of New York, I pose the following to you. Dr. McCracken, tell us what vision you have for bringing our university into the 20th century.
Dr. Hall, I have inspiration. We need to attract more students and financial support from New York's philanthropists. Washington Square is no longer a magnet for academics, writers, and artists. It has become increasingly industrial and commercial, and too busy, in my opinion. The university's enrollment has dropped to 91 students. We need to attract more students and to generate more income from tuition. I will focus on creating a new campus uptown that has a calm, reflective environment for undergraduate students. It will be an enclosed, spacious campus, set apart from the urban world. We will surround our students with the art, the beauty, and the intellectual accomplishments of the finest minds of ancient and modern history. We will build their bodies with physical training and athletics. We will provide them with a place to live as they study, and they will flock to our university.
Inspiration caused Dr. Henry Mitchell McCracken to grow NYU from just 91 students in 1891 to over 4,000 by 1910. Inspiration led him northward to the Bronx, where a new campus would rise on land that became known as University Heights. Inspiration helped Chancellor McCracken tap into the university's greatest resource, its alumni, to fulfill his vision. One was H.W.T. Molly, Belgium's consul general and a member of the class of 1865, who agreed to sell his 40-acre estate overlooking the Harlem River for the university's new home. Another was Richard Grant White, class of 1839, a prominent Shakespearean scholar and critic who recruited his son, the young, celebrated Gilded Age architect Stanford White. Of the renowned firm McKim, Mead & White, he was already famous for designing the iconic Washington Square Arch. They would draw inspiration from the glories of Rome's Pantheon, Venice's Golden Staircase, and Munich's Ruhmeshalle, creating a campus that blended classical grandeur with bold American ambition. And to help fund this grand endeavor, McCracken turned to yet another alumna, Helen Miller Gould Shepard, NYU Law's first female graduate, who carried forward the philanthropic legacy of her father, Jay Gould, in an effort to burnish his notorious image from his business dealings. Through inspiration, they would build a campus worthy of a new century.
The combination of McCracken and Stanford White was a bit of an odd couple. McCracken was a serious sort of Presbyterian minister, educator. Stanford White did have a reputation for living high, wide, and handsome. And so I think that fundamentally they were not people that would have spent time together except for the creation of this campus.
Mr. White, I intend to grow our university dramatically to over 10 times our current number of students within 10 years. We must attract the most inspired educators, expand our academic offerings, and reach into the growing population of new Americans striving to improve their lives. I have found such a perfect site for our new campus, away from the noise and distractions around Washington Square. Of course, you will have to maintain a strict budget and complete the campus before the turn of the century. I am told you can do it. I expect great things from you.
When the firm got the commission, they were at that point the largest and most famous architecture firm in the country, if not in the world. And so Stanford White was, I think, the most visible architect in America.
Chancellor McCracken, it's ambitious, but we at McKim, Mead & White can and will Do what you envision. In fact, my partner, Mr. McKim, is presently working on a similar project for Columbia University. I will be in charge of bringing your inspiration to reality, on time and on budget. New York University's new campus at University Heights will be open by the beginning of the new century.
McCracken was swinging for the fences on this one, which was great because he got a home run out of Gould Memorial Library.
I envision our campus anchored by a magnificent library, where my office will be, an enormous library, to rival the great libraries of Europe. We need to provide for hundreds of thousands of volumes. We need seminar rooms and offices for our most esteemed professors. We need spaces for our students to study. We need an environment in which our students will be in awe every moment they enter the building. Mr. White, draw upon your knowledge of the wonders of Europe. Our library must be classical. It must be opulent. It must be tasteful. Be inspired by the wonders of Rome's Pantheon and Venice's Ducal Palace and Germany.
Chancellor McCracken, I am inspired by the challenge.
Let's take a trip down memory lane and go inside Gould Memorial Library. First, you go through this revolving door that I swear must be one of the oldest revolving doors in New York. But you look around and on either side of you, you see those wonderful Tiffany windows that make every day look like a sunny day, even if it isn't. And then you see this rather intimidating stair in front of you. Well, he needed the stair because he needed to fit an auditorium underneath the main rotunda. He does give you treats along the way. The barrel vault of the staircase is kind of richly embroidered with coffering and gold leaf, and really what he's doing is he's setting you up for the punchline, which is to go through those doors and to walk into the rotunda. And there is just nobody who doesn't open those doors and take a deep breath when they look at what's inside.
Beautiful.
I did a lot of studying here in the library, right here in the rotunda, because I love this space.
When the building was built, there was an oculus that was open, and so light came in from the top of the building. But during the day, you would have this light coming through the center of the dome, which must have been just fantastic. The statues at the top are the muses, the music, poetry, art, architecture. The columns themselves are an Irish green marble called Connemara, which is relatively rare. The geometry of that dome, it's a spiral in which the coffers get smaller as you go to the top. It's just amazing.
Beneath Gould Memorial Library, Chancellor McCracken envisioned a grand chapel. He was, after all, a Protestant minister. Daily attendance there was mandatory for students. The chapel also functioned as a grand lecture hall, framed by magnificent Tiffany stained glass windows.
The chapel is designed so it shall be bathed in natural heavenly light.
A setting for classes, performances, and landmark events. In the turbulence of the late 1960s, amid campus anti-war protests, the hall was firebombed, and the priceless Tiffany windows were lost forever.
Stanford White saw the campus as an academic quadrangle that was focused on the library at its sort of center line. His master plan for the campus organized the campus so that the residential portion and the what's called the Ohio Field, the athletic portion, was outside of the academic quadrangle.
We will also need residence halls to house our resident students. For at least 250 men, we will need a playing field where our students will become athletes. I see an enclave of academic buildings surrounding a great lawn.
He knew that even though it was just open fields around the campus, he knew that the city would grow and that the enclosure of the academic quadrangle would start to mean more as the city sort of grew up around NYU. And so his vision was really a sanctuary for academics. The original inspiration for the Hall of Fame was a formal device to make the library look as though it wasn't sliding down the back of the hill into the East River. They needed something to kind of hold the thing in place, and McCracken came up with this idea of making a Hall of Fame for great Americans. And it was the first Hall of Fame. I mean, it was like 30 years before Cooperstown, and it became immensely popular. The Hall of Fame was the second most popular tourist destination in New York State after Niagara Falls. The Hall of Fame is sort of a wonderful little history lesson in the great thinkers in America. It makes you really feel proud to be an American, to walk through the Hall of Fame and to see all these names.
I used to explore the Hall of Fame, partly because I felt I needed to learn a little more history about some of the people that were in it, and partly because it's just a wonderful place to be. All of them were really inspiring.
Being a student in here, it felt like entering a solemn but joyous space in that kind of way that you feel when you're studying.
We had a wonderful time playing amongst all of these grand buildings.
In 1906, Stanford White's life was cut short when he was shot and killed by the jealous husband of his mistress, the actress Evelyn Nesbit. The resulting trial captivated the nation and became known at the time as the trial of the century. After his death, White's son gathered some of the era's leading artists to design and dedicate the grand bronze doors of Gould Memorial Library, a lasting tribute to his father's vision at University Heights. After having served the university for more than a quarter of a century, Dr. McCracken announced his desire to retire on his 70th birthday.
The constantly increasing constituency of New York University belong to a younger generation than mine and need to be met by a younger man.
McCracken died on Christmas Eve, 1918. Inspired by Dr. Henry Mitchell McCracken's vision, New York University grew from a struggling college of just 91 students in 1891 to a global institution. As of April 2025, NYU spans 15 campuses around the world with more than 700,000 alumni across 183 countries. Scholars, leaders, and creators educated in 14 colleges and over 270 fields of study. Their achievements have given rise to Nobel laureates, Pulitzer Prize winners, Abel Prize mathematicians, MacArthur Genius Fellows, and dozens of members of the National Academy of Sciences and the National Academy of Engineering. A legacy of inspiration, still growing, still reaching new heights.
Catherine, see what we've inspired.
Students